Hello everyone, hopefully you can see and hear me even though I'm on a tiny little screen above the slides this morning. So I'll wait for the live session to kind of settle, as I know sometimes it takes a second to kick in. You can say hello in the chat, and it's lovely to have you all here this Wednesday morning. Oh great, lovely. James and Susie and Jane and Basti's here. He's going to help with the chat. So if you've got any questions or you're wondering what's going on, Basti will help with the chat this morning. Thanks, Basti. So what I wanted to do before we tuned into ourselves and thought about our earth element, which I think you started with Cliff last week, I just wanted to go through the slides again to show our Chinese body clock, the time of the meridians, and also our polyvagal chart when we're in the green zone, the red zone, and then the blue zone. Oh, lovely to see everyone, all the way from Germany too. All right, so I'll move through these slides. And here we have our Chinese clock, body clock of Chinese medicine. Of course, all of our meridians are working at all times. This is just the times of the day when they tend to be a little bit more dominant for reasons that are written on here. So we've gone from lung to large intestine. We're now in the stomach section of the earth element. As you can see, it's stomach and spleen, the two meridian pairings associated with this element. And it's between 7 and 9 a.m. in the morning, which makes sense. Once we've woken up, taken our first breath, probably popped to the loo, we're already going to start to get hungry and we want some breakfast. Makes sense. Stomach channel, we see something and we want to nourish ourselves with it. It's also a really good time for concentration, for morning work, and also perhaps a nice time for a walk. So that's a little bit about that. Later we'll move into the spleen channel later on in the next couple of weeks, and we'll look at digesting the food and chewing over thoughts and ideas as well. So I'll just move on to the polyvagal chart. Excuse me a moment. I think I have a little frog in my throat. So you've probably all seen this and very familiar with this polyvagal chart. So our different sections, the green is where we hopefully all more or less should be. There might be times where we pop into the red and dip back down into the green. But when we move to the red and get really stressed and there's panic and fear and anxiety, worry and many concerns, if this doesn't shift back down to the green, sometimes we can go up to the blue zone where things kind of get stuck and we can't quite return back down to the red or even the green. And that's why we do these classes, so we can find ourselves back in that lovely, yummy green zone. So I'm going to very swiftly move through the slides. If you don't like scrolling, please close your eyes now. I won't be a second. So there's the lung and large intestine. Here we are. The earth element. If you've got your eyes closed, you can open them now. I finished scrolling so quickly. The earth element. Just to refresh if you weren't here last week. Usually in the seasons, I think of it as harvest time, so late summer, which isn't quite here yet, but we are getting there. And it's the support time where we get our needs met and where we nourish ourselves. And that can be physically, what we eat. It can also be physically with the things that we do, and also on all the other levels, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and perhaps cosmic as well. Obviously, it's linked in with the digestion because it's stomach and spleen channels, but also our thoughts digesting our thoughts as well. And it's our thinking mind, which is called the Yi, the ethereal soul of the earth element. I will stop sharing. We're going to come back to the slides in a little bit. So I've realised I've chatted for the last 5 minutes. So I thought, welcome everybody if you've just joined. If we just come to an easy sitting, and I'm going to sit on a bolster. Sometimes prefer that. You might want to kneel or sit cross-legged, or maybe sitting on a chair. We're just going to roll the shoulders a little bit. You might want to have a little wiggle of the rib cage. Check in with the jaw. Is the jaw nice and relaxed? Maybe opening the mouth and sticking the tongue out. Oh, taking a nice breath in. Doing a little wiggle for yourselves. Oh, before really gently settling. Lovely. Wonderful. And you can either have your hands resting on your legs, or if you're like me and you learn and process things through touch, placing one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly. So usually we go for the dantian below the belly button, the navel. But I thought today, let's connect in with our belly button, thinking of the earth element, thinking of the umbilical channel that connects us to our mother, and maybe we can think of that as Mother Earth. A nice connection in with Mother Earth and where we eat and nourish ourselves. So if it feels comfortable, we can close our eyes. If not, it's okay. We could just have an easy gaze with the eyes so we're not straining anything. Making sure you're nice and settled in the pelvis. And we're just gently tuning in to how we're doing. Might notice where there's tension in the body. Or maybe you're feeling really free. Maybe where there's space in the body. Maybe we can start to tune into where our breath sits. And it might be very gently tickling the nostrils. Or perhaps your breath's pouring down the throat at the front or into the upper chest. Perhaps you can feel it round the diaphragm and the rib cage. Or is it gently drawing down a little bit deeper into the belly? And it's okay wherever we're at. Maybe your breath's filling the whole of you, all the way to the fingertips and toes, like a human-shaped balloon. Just going to take 3 slightly deeper breaths and not forcing anything at all. We don't need to panic ourselves with, oh gosh, my breath isn't going as deep as it should be. Put that little thought out the window. It's totally fine. We're going to breathe in through the nose, filling the space under the hands if they're on our body, or imagining we're filling the space here under the hands, and then breathing out through the mouth. As we breathe out, we're still staying alive with energy, so we don't have to collapse when we breathe out. We're going to breathe in again through the nose. And then breathing out through the mouth. One more slightly deeper breath in here, breathing in. Filling the space in the chest and the belly, but not forcing anything. And then breathing out through the mouth. And then going to a natural breath. It's all right if you're yawning, things are clearing. You're just going to move the hands away from the body if they are indeed on your torso and belly area. Just going to roll the shoulders again. Lovely. And I'm just going to put a little poll up on the screen a moment. I'll come back a little bit. If you don't want to click on the screen and you're happy sitting, that's absolutely fine. I'd like to just share how you are all coping. Maybe you're doing really well, you're okay, neutral, a little bit stressed, or very stressed. So just taking a moment to, if you want to, click on the poll. If you want to stay sitting with this lovely breath coming into the body. Okay, so we've got, so about 30% of you are okay and the same neutral. But then we've got, 45%, 50% stressed or very stressed. You're in the right place. And hopefully by 11, we're going to feel really good. Wonderful. Okay. And it's okay if we don't as well. I get stressy days and sometimes it doesn't clear until I've had a good sleep. I'm going to share the screen again because I want to do the lovely thing that Basti does and find point of the week twice in the session. So I'm just going to pop the slides back up and I'm going to move along. We did this one last week with Cliff, and then we're going to drop all the way down into the belly to our stomach 25. And this is the one that I would like to find as we're sitting at the moment. Later, I'm going to get the book and read what this wonderful point does. But what I wanted to do for now, whilst we're quite quiet and calm all together, is connecting in with our belly button, our umbilical, and then moving out to this lovely point, stomach 25. So to find it, as you can see on the image, you want to find your belly button, and a sun is 2 of your thumb widths, not mine. We're going on your own thumb widths. So from the belly button out, we're going to go 1 either side of the belly button and then 2. So not very far from me at all, our little thumbs. So depending on the size of your thumbs and your belly button, you'll find 2 widths. You can also do it with your fingers if that helps. I kind of line up the index finger on the belly button, umbilicus, and then it's in between the middle and 4th finger, so you can just drop into it here and connecting in here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and then I'm going to come and sit back again. Hopefully you're still sitting really comfortably. All right, so just to tune in to this lovely feeling in the belly where we nourish and digest on a physical level, but also, I know with stress, sometimes it does go to the stomach before it manifests as other things. So before we find this lovely point on our belly, let's just draw around with the arms in our auric egg. So we're gathering in lovely energy. Maybe you're thinking of something delicious that you want to eat, or maybe it's nourishing in other ways. Maybe space and time for yourself, or thinking of gathering in behind yourself, maybe above. Maybe you don't want to go so far out. Maybe you want to stay much closer. So gathering in this really lovely, nourishing stuff. I always get this image that I'm by the beach in the glorious sunshine and having a picnic. That really nourishes me, and that's my favourite. So I'm thinking of these lovely images and drawing that in all the way into the belly, gathering it in. And then placing the hands on the belly and giving a nice rub round the belly. Then we're going to find our belly button, our umbilicus, our navel. And then we're going to find that lovely point. So 2 of your thumb widths out. 1, 2. Here we are. And using the fingertips, I like to connect in with the middle finger because I find the index finger is quite strong. There's a lot of pressure on that finger. I'm just going to very gently send the energy, or turn sideways so you can see, sending the fingertips towards the belly. So not kind of downwards, but in. And I'm going to imagine, and we can all do it together, that this wonderful stomach energy is gently drawing down. It's the way our digestion works. We all know that. We're going to eat something that we want to nourish us, and then it's slowly drawing downwards. And you can moderate the pressure, easy shoulders, easy jaw, hips are relaxed. Thinking of this lovely, nourishing food or feeling, or maybe it's moving around and allowing your body to be free. It's something that nourishes you, is drawing down into your body and being more embodied and allowing the energy to sink down towards the ground. Wonderful. Now we're just going to very gently move the hands away. You might want to rub the belly again. And before we come to standing and get a little bit more movement around, I thought we're connecting with our feet. Talking of grounding ourselves, so you might want to stay sitting on the ground. I'm going to get the chair, and for those of you who want to sit on the chair, I'll show you here. I think everybody's doing all right in the chat. Yes, hello if anybody's joined a little bit later. So coming to sit, and you might want to sit on the floor, cross-legged. If you can't reach your feet, this is a time where you can go and get your tennis ball or dryer ball and roll it underneath the feet to help undo the points on the feet. I think one of you a long time ago couldn't find any of those and found yourselves a nice firm apple. Whatever it rolls and is firm enough to take some pressure underneath the foot. So just to begin with, we're going to rub the hands together, making some Qi and energy. And we're going to pick up one foot. I like to cross it over the opposite knee. You might want to lengthen the leg away if that's uncomfortable on the side of the hip. And then just to begin with, see how you feel. You might want to take a hold of the foot and give it a nice squeeze. But for me this morning, I feel like I want to tap using a loose wrist, tapping underneath the sole of the foot. So do what feels good for you. You might want to give the whole foot a squeeze. Or for me, I definitely need this a little bit more connection with the ground, and I feel like my feet need a little bit more waking up this morning. Oh, wonderful. Grounding ourselves. So the wonderful stomach channel energy moves downwards. So if we have a good connection through our feet, then we're later, when we look at spleen, which is happening all the time, the energy moves upwards. So we can feel a lot easier after digesting something. All right. You might want to tap the top of the foot or give that a squeeze. Wonderful. And then we're just going to go along each toe and give them a nice squeeze as well. So if you've been pressing the whole foot, come on down to the toes. You might want to give them a little bit of a wiggle, circling them, going down each toe. Wiggle and circling, taking your time, easy breath. You might notice, oh, this little toe down here hasn't had much attention for a while. All the way to the little toe. Wonderful. And then before we swap feet over, we're going to come to our wonderful kidney one, in between the second and third toe metatarsal. So it's just below the ball of the foot, which you all know if you've been here lots before, and then giving a little gentle press in, maybe with the thumbs or if that's indeed sensitive this morning, holding the foot and sending some lovely Qi into this point. Bubbling spring, so we can allow that gorgeous energy up through the feet and into the rest of the body because we're nice and grounded. Wonderful, easy breath. We've got that lovely connection in with our belly already. And then we'll release that foot. Might want to give it a shake. And we're going to come to the other foot as well. I'm not going to shake your hands out. All right, so moving to the other foot. And then doing what feels good for this foot. So for some reason, this foot I want to start off by squeezing it. And then I think I'll come to tapping it. But maybe you just want to go straight into tapping. Or maybe giving it a nice squeeze. So doing what feels good for your other foot. And it might be different to your first one. Which makes sense because they're two different feet. So grounding ourselves through our feet. Making space in the feet. It's really important. All right. So doing what feels good, maybe tapping or giving the foot a good squeeze, opening them up. Ooh. Wonderful. And then if you want to tap the top of the foot, please feel free to, as long as we've got easy, loose wrists. And then if we're not tapping and we're squeezing and pressing the foot, we're all going to come down to our toes again. So squeezing out each toe, saying hello to it, and then maybe giving it a little wiggle, circling it. Moving all the way down each toe. Taking your time, easy breath. Nourishing ourselves. And I feel that that's kind of what you've already done this morning, because you've made space for yourselves to come and do some body work and to check in and tune in with your bodies. So it's wonderful. So let's just appreciate this time that we've taken for ourselves this morning. It's brilliant. All right, all the way down the toes. And then we're just going to come and find that lovely kidney one on the other foot, in between the second and third metatarsal. Giving it a nice press, or maybe you just want to hold it. Oh, this one definitely needs it today on my right foot. So you might notice one side is going, oh yes, more of that please. Or maybe both, and that's okay. Both feet might be doing that. Nice squeeze out. Wonderful. And then we're just going to release the foot. You might want to give the hands a nice shake out, and then into the wrists and the arms and elbows. Ooh. Now I'm going to very gently move the chair out of the way, and we're going to take our time to come up to standing if that feels good for you. Anytime you want to rest on the floor and feel comfortable doing that, I welcome you to do it. I don't feel there's any need to feel uncomfortable in our bodies if indeed we feel sicky or dizzy. How are we doing? Perfect timing. All right, so this shaking feeling. So let's have a little shake out while standing. Hopefully I'm all in the picture. Great. Shaking out the fingers, the hands. You might want to be a bit more gentle, or perhaps today a little bit more vigorous. Into the wrists, imagining our bones are like cooked spaghetti or wet noodles. Into the forearms, doesn't matter what it looks like. Into the elbows, into the upper arms. You might want to go a bit more gently. Into the shoulders. Easy breath. We've got nice grounded feet. Wonderful. Allowing the arms to just move in whatever way feels comfortable with our cooked spaghetti limbs and bones. And then we're just going to very gently release the arms. Wonderful. And then we're going to work our way down. So if we have that, I'll turn slightly sideways, have the feet in a nice juicy parallel, easy ankles and knees and hips at the front. How is it just to move the pelvis from side to side, allowing the arms to be free and to swing. And we're keeping this lovely space in between the legs. And the head's just going along with the movement that's rippling up through the spine. Oh, easy breath. And the belly's relaxed. A lot of the time we think about engaging the belly and drawing it in, but just for now, how is it just to relax the belly? Because we've got the weight through the feet, thinking maybe, I don't know, silverback gorillas a little bit more. So releasing the belly and allowing a bit more space in around the pelvis, the pelvic girdle, tailbone, and then it ripples all the way up through the spine. Wonderful. Easing it out. And then gently allowing this movement to get smaller, but there's no rush. Allowing it to get smaller and gently back in underneath. So we're back on the top of the legs. The pelvis is resting on the top of the legs. We're going to very gently allow the weight to shift into one leg. If you want to hold onto a wall or a chair, please do. Just going to shift the weight into one foot. And then we're going to give these toes a good old shake. See if we can release the sole of the foot. And all our wonderful toes and digits that we've just helped to undo with massaging or tapping into the ankle. And you can move the leg to get the right angle into the lower leg, giving it a good shake out. You might want to drop the foot and pick it up again. Our cooked spaghetti bones in the leg, into the knee. Wonderful. And then gently into the thigh and the upper leg. If you've got space, you might want to give the leg a swing forward and back, but only if that feels comfortable. If that's not okay on your lower back, drop the heel on the floor and give the whole leg a little bit of a wiggle in the hip socket. Wonderful. So keep that wiggling going. I'm just going to, a little message has just popped up on the screen. I'm just going to tell that to disappear a second. Okay, wonderful. We're going to come back here to do whatever feels good for you. You might want to open the leg out to the side and across the body. Ooh, giving that leg a nice shake out and then moving through parallel, checking in. My left leg feels great. I'm going to shift into that juicy leg I've just worked on. So shifting the weight into the other leg and giving our next foot a good old shake out. Getting into the toes, easy breath, checking in with the shoulders and the jaw. The tongue relaxed in the mouth. As the belly easy to the ankle. You can put the foot down and pick it up into the lower leg. Oh, hello knee. If there's any quicks and cracks, we can be gentle and ease out those joints. So it's also about nourishing the joints as well as nourishing our digestive system. Into the upper leg, giving that a good old wiggle out. And it might need something different to the other leg. And then giving the leg a good old swing if that feels okay. Or dropping the heel on the floor, resting into that supporting standing leg. And give the heel a wiggle. So we're allowing the whole leg to rotate in the hip socket. So doing whatever feels good. I'm going to open the leg out and across the body. Wonderful. And then shaking both legs out. Ooh, my knees are very cracky today. So shaking out both legs and then coming back to an easy parallel. Checking in with the belly, the shoulders, the face, and our wonderful feet spreading in the ground. Super. So to connect in a little bit more with this beautiful stomach channel, we've already gathered in this deliciousness through our egg that's around us. I thought we could do this wonderful Qi Gong movement that gathers energy from the earth first, comes up through our center, connecting in with the belly, opens the heart center gently, and then we gather in this gorgeous sun energy and draw this down the body. So I'll talk us through it very gently and slowly first. I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see a little bit better. All right, and then we're gonna, after this, we're gonna look at opening up the face a little bit and into the top of the chest with some tapping. But we're gonna be gentle today. It's nice to take our time when we're finding things delicious, whether that's eating or doing things for our body or ourselves or making space for ourselves. I'm slowly learning this myself. Take the time to enjoy the delicious things. So I'll turn sideways so you can see a little bit more. Lovely spread feet, easy joints. And what we're going to do is start with the hands so they're off the body and they're in towards the belly. Wonderful. We're going to actually start with the movement, and the hands are going to face the ground. And just to begin with, before we go down, we're connecting in with the hand gates and the foot gates into our wonderful earth, the earth that nourishes us, that supports us, feeds us, sustains us. Wonderful. Easy belly, easy throat and tongue. And then from here, we're just going to turn the hands and imagine that gorgeous energy drawing up through the feet, ankles, lower legs, into the knees, the thighs, the hips, into the belly. We're going to keep the hands away and off the body. We're sending this gorgeous energy in from the palms of the hands to the body. And we've always got an easy, natural breath. And then from here, we're drawing the energy up towards the heart center. You might want to gently point the fingers towards the heart. We're going to uncurl the arms like a scroll. Go to wherever feels comfortable for you today. If you don't want to open yourself up too much to the world right now, stay a little bit closer with the arms. If you feel like, yeah, this feels really good, we can start to open up the hands a little bit more. So go to wherever feels comfortable. We're going to breathe in, turn the hands up towards the sky, and we're going to gather the hands all the way up above our heads. Hopefully you can see. And then we're going to draw around the sun, that gorgeous sunshine we had at the weekend, and it's still there above the clouds in Norwich, and maybe wherever you are, it's beautiful and sunny. And we're drawing this energy down to the top of the head, like a tunnel of golden light pouring down, and then the fingertips are going to draw that energy down to the top of the head, our crown chakra. We're going to roll the hands round the back of the head here, thinking of it going into the back of the head, the throat, come round the side of the head, pouring that gorgeous golden light into the throat, down the front of the body again, round the ribs, sometimes where we get stuck around the diaphragm, into the back, the kidneys, down the back of the sacrum, up and over like a holster. We're going to go down either side of the legs, only going as far as is comfortable, softening in the knees, spreading the feet. You might just want to go part way, plugging the hands into the earth energy. Perhaps you want to go all the way over, releasing the lower back a little bit more. And we're going to circle the earth, making sure our head and neck are nice and easy, circling this gorgeous earth energy that supports and nourishes us. We're going to draw that up the front of our legs, drawing it all the way up, feeding ourselves into the pelvis and the belly. And then we're going to begin again up to the heart center, gently opening out to wherever's comfortable. Breathing in, turning the hands up towards the sky and the earth, circling around that gorgeous sunshine that's up there in the skies and the heavens, drawing that golden light down to the top of the head, crown of the head, fingertips pointing to the crown chakra, rolling around the back of the head, ears, throat, gorgeous light, easy tongue down the front, round the diaphragm, into the kidneys at the back. Oh, especially if we're tired, giving them some lovely, gorgeous, warming sunlight. Round the hips, and we're going to go all the way down the legs, bathing in sunshine. Going to wherever feels comfortable, even if we're much more upright. Okay, we're imagining the hands going down, the legs plugging into the ground, the earth element. Energy from the earth circling around the earth a few times, and then drawing that up, the ankles, the front of the legs, into the pelvis, belly. Feel free if there's any wiggles or you want to stay in a place a little bit longer, up to the heart center. And we're just going to make this a little bit smoother, connecting in with the breath. Go to whatever rhythm and pace feels good for you. And if there's a bit that, that feels good, I'm going to stay there for a moment. Washing your body with sunlight and golden energy around the pelvis, into the earth energy, head and neck and tongue relaxed, gathering it up the front of the legs. Taking your time, or going quicker, going to the pace and rhythm that feels good for you. And then we're just going to very gently wash our body so we can start to be much smoother in our form. Don't worry about it. We're just washing our body with earth and sun energy, allowing it to roll through the whole body. You can take your time. You don't have to be as quick as me. This is what I feel feels good for me today. You might want to be much smoother and slower, which is wonderful. So taking your time to do whatever feels good. Easy breath, not forcing anything at all. And then the next time we roll round and gather in the earth energy, drawing it up the legs, taking your time to draw up the legs into the front of the pelvis and then the belly. And we're going to allow our hands to touch the belly, gathering it in, one hand on top of the other. You might want to roll, make some circles around the belly button. Easy feet in the ground, easy joints. Or you might just want to gently start to settle the hands gently around the belly button. Easy breath. Wonderful. That's great. And then gently moving the hands away when you're ready. You might want to stay there a little bit longer. I'm just going to check in with the chat. I think everybody's doing fine. Yes, wonderful. Okay. And we're doing great time-wise. Okay. So we've tuned into our breath and how we feel. We've looked at the point of the week, which we're going to come back to in a moment. We've undone our feet. We've connected in a little bit more with the upper body, and we've smoothed out our whole energy with heaven and earth. So from here, if you want to come to sitting, we're going to open up the head channel, coming to the stomach and down the front of the face and round the eyes. So if you want to come and sit down, please do. If you want to stay standing, you're also welcome to do that as well. Yeah, easy job today, Basti. You're quite correct in it. I think everybody's joining in, so that's wonderful. So give your hands a bit of a shake out. I know we've touched our feet to begin with before coming to our faces, but they're your own feet and your own face. So if you want to wash your hands, now's the time. If you don't mind, just give your hands a nice shake out. And then all we're going to do, just to begin with, I'm going to come and sit in the bolster so I'm a little higher. We're going to place the hands over the eyes. Resting the elbows maybe on the chest, shoulders are nice and relaxed. And as you can see, I'll turn sideways here. So I'm resting a little bit of weight from my head into my hands. Easy breath in my pelvis, allowing our pelvis to be easy, feet are relaxed. Might want to be doing this sitting on a chair or cross-legged or standing as well. Allowing our eyes to rest. They do a lot of looking. So I thought this morning we can allow light and images to come to our eyes rather than us constantly looking. Because I feel sometimes, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly looking. This kind of happens with the face, and then the neck can kind of come out of alignment, and I feel like I'm moving forward like this. It happens with a lot of people. I like to watch people when they walk around the city. This can kind of happen if they're stressed and they're running around like a headless chicken, quite literally. So allowing our eyes to rest for a moment. Easy breath. And what we're going to do to begin with is allow a little tiny bit of space. So I'm cupping my hand, tiny bit of space around the eyes. So it's still dark and we've still got our eyes closed and our breath's nice and easy. And very gently, when you're ready, we're just going to very slowly open our eyes in our hands. So there's no rush. Gently allowing the light in. Allowing things to come to your eyes rather than going out looking for it. Same with what we see. Allow things to come to the eyes than looking for it. And then really gently, no rush at all. It's going to take our time to move the hands away from the eyes. Seeing how that is for our eyes to just receive rather than look. Hopefully feels a lot more refreshing on your eyeballs. So whilst we've got our arms near our heads, I'm going to take the fingertips around the eyebrows, maybe gently tapping or pressing here around the eyebrows, either side of the eyebrows, and we're going to take some circles with the fingertips, opening out our gallbladder and triple heater channel. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Eyeballs feel cool and juicy. Wonderful. We are nourishing our yin. And then we're going to take these fingertips and then very gently tap underneath the cheekbone and the eye socket. And if you were here last week, you're going to find this is the start of the stomach channel. So where it is where your pupils are in line with your face. We've got stomach 1 on the top ridge of that eye socket. So we're just going to use, I like to use the middle finger or fourth finger. The index finger is quite strong. So choosing one of the less strong fingers and just gently pressing in. It's like we see food or see something that we like that nourishes us, and we're just allowing it to draw in towards the eyes. Wonderful. And then it's going to very gently come down to underneath the cheeks. There's another point in here, number 3. Moving down underneath the cheekbones here. And then, because then we see something delicious and want to eat it, we're just going to open the mouth a little bit, releasing either side of the cheeks. All the way, I'm going to use my thumbs underneath the jaw. And then on the throat, very lightly brushing downwards. So maybe it's that beach picnic that I very much enjoy. We're starting to eat it. Or maybe it's a different image for you, probably more likely is. And then brushing down the front of the chest. Wonderful. And then before we come back to our point of the week, and whilst we're around the head and neck area, I'll turn around in a moment. Let's find the bladder channel in the back of the head. Hopefully you can see. So let's take the thumbs underneath the occipital ridge. We're going to find the middle part, which is on our governing vessel, which we connected to. Or did we? No, we've done CV, the front. We're coming this to later on in the summer. So there's a little hollow at the base of our occipital point, where our governing vessel comes to, one of the extraordinary channels. We're just going to very gently move out. You can release the head backwards a little bit. So we're just pressing gently underneath the occipital ridge, helping the back of the skull to undo, where our fascia, our connective tissue, starts to kind of hang down the back all the way to our feet. So our fascial plane, releasing that here. And then we're going to come to either side of the spine, just a little bit down from the occipital ridge into bladder, and then gently opening space. Don't have to tilt the head back, you can just project in through the thumbs. Easy breath. Wonderful. Into our bladder point here. And then either interlacing the fingers and using both the heels of the hand, or I prefer to just do the one and use fingers and palm of the hand, heel of the hand, either side of the neck, giving that a nice squeeze out. Wonderful. Great. All right. And then from here, again, coming back to brushing the front of the chest, I'm going to come up to standing. We're going to connect in with our point of the week again. After brushing down, I've got a book at the ready, so if you're standing already, wonderful. We're brushing down the front of the chest. And then how would it be to keep brushing, so imagining these lines from the stomach onto the chest, through the nipples, and then either side of the belly button, so it gently comes in, brushing down onto the belly. And we're going to find that gorgeous point of the week. So finding your belly button, your navel, and then drawing out two of your thumb widths. 1, 2. Here we are, that wonderful stomach 25. Take your time to gently press it. You can release the hands and come back to it. And I'm going to read the wonderful things that it does whilst you tune into your stomach 25. It's got another name called Heaven's Axis. Love it. It's also linked in with our large intestine, so allowing things to drop down and let go even further, drawing downwards. Its name, so this is a gorgeous image for us. Its name refers to, that's Heaven's Axis, to the point's location and area of influence. This point is located level with our umbilicus or our CB channel, or conception channel, which is a point called Spirit's Palace Gate, the entry gate for our spirit and our energies of source Qi, our essence, and our ancestral Qi. strong, beautiful point. So this connects us with the prenatal stage of our human development when we're in the womb. So shake your hands out if you want to, and then coming back to it. Or there's another word for it. Tan Shu is also an ancient name for a star in the constellation of Ursa Minor, which was viewed as a pole star until its passage through the process of the equinox moved it away from the true pole. So I know we've just had an amazing solstice, so it links in really nicely to this star that used to be in the alignment of equinoxes. So this suggests the point's location is slightly off center from the umbilicus. Beautiful. Does all sorts of things. So resting your hands on the belly, if you've had enough of giving this point a good old press, it regulates the spleen channel, which is the Qi and the Yang. So if we're feeling quite heady and stressed, it helps drawing the energy downwards. It helps the stomach, helps the middle and lower burners. It moistens, regulates intestines, generates fluid, tonifies nutritious Qi, reduces digestion stagnation, clears abdominal heat, so kind of any belching or acid reflux, things like that. It transforms any dampness in the body and regulates qi and blood, and it does all sorts of things, but we're going to keep doing that. Oh, thank you, Basti. We're going to keep drawing down the legs to our feet again. So that's a little bit about the image of this point. What is the name of this book? I love these descriptions. Thank you, Basti. The star system is Ursa Minor. I think that's how I put it. Yes, Little Bear. That's it, exactly. This is the name of the book. Acupuncture Points, Images and Functions. Hopefully you can see the name of the person there. Arnie Lade. So that's this wonderful book that we keep referencing. All right, so hopefully you're standing and you're still with me. You've got the hands around the belly area, either pressing down the front of the legs, or I'm going to give mine a bit of a tap, and we're going to go down the stomach channel. So imagining the front of the legs, train tracks from the hips, and we're going to go around the knees, down, we're going to go down the outside edge, and we're going to come up the inside, up spleen. So either pressing or tapping, do what feels good for you. Tapping down the stomach or pressing, either side of the knees, either front side of the shins. Oh, that feels good. Imagining we're going to our feet if it's uncomfortable, to the second toe, and then we're going to come up the inside of the big toe, inside front edge of the legs to our lower bellies, and then down again. Taking your time, second turn, then coming up the instep all the way to our bellies. Let's go once more if that feels okay. Taking your time, down the legs, relaxing the head and the jaw and the tongue, and then up the inside aspect. Wonderful. And then we're just going to roll the hands round the belly. So right hip up to the right ribs, across to the left and down again. So this is where our digestion works in the body. It moves this way. The large intestine goes from the right hip up across here and then down and out the back. Don't need to explain that one. Eliminating. So this wonderful point we're connected to helps with our digestion all the way to the end. Easy breath, rolling the hands through the belly. Wonderful. And then just holding either slightly below the belly button, or if you want to tune into your navel, please do. And we're just going to take 3 lovely breaths in like we did right at the start. We're going to breathe in, breathe out through the mouth. Breathing in, not forcing anything with the breath, breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out again. Then coming to an easy breath, not forcing anything, allowing the joints to be easy, the body to be nourished. Easy breath. You have the eyes closed still if that feels okay. Wonderful. Just going to check in with the time. We've got wonderful timing. Yes, thank you everybody. So from here, if that feels okay, we're going to come and either sit or lie down. I like to take a time for our bodies to digest what we've been doing. So we found our point of the week, stomach 25 twice. We've worked around the body to calm and nourish it. Most important. And I wanted to read a lovely visualization for you all, connecting in with nourishing ourselves and filling our bodies to their fullest comfortably. So lying on the floor, maybe you want the feet on the ground and the knees up, or maybe the legs out is comfortable. Maybe you want to lie on one side, or maybe you want to stay sitting. So doing whatever feels good for you. I'm going to come and sit cross-legged and read from my lovely book, which I always use. It's A Widening Field by Miranda Tufnell. I'll write that in a little while. So allowing the eyes to rest, thinking of those lovely, cooling, nourishing, moist eyeballs that we had a moment ago. Allowing the belly to rest. You don't have to hold the belly at all. Allowing the tongue in the mouth to soften. You can just allow the words to kind of waft over you. Don't worry if you drift off, you might want to stay lying down afterwards, and that's okay. It's called Making Room Inside, yawning and stretching. Take the time to spread out. Let your mouth, throat soften. Open and taste the breath. Allow your hard palate, roof of the mouth, to widen and open upwards, like a dome. Let your jaw, your tongue soften. Let the breath fill into the spaces of your mouth as a wind filling the sail of a boat. Allow your whole face to dissolve and loosen, finding a new face, softer. Perhaps each breath or each yawn reaching into the interiors of your body, spreading out, opening the length of your spine. Let your whole body expand in yawn. Heels, shoulders, hands, knees. Welcoming, gently letting the outside in. Let the yawn stretch and fill the whole body to its full size. So you might want to stay lying or sitting. There's really no rush. Perhaps you want to stay even when I close the session this morning. Thank you, Basti. Yes, here's the book. It's called A Widening Field by Miranda Tufnell and Chris Quickmay. I love it. It's one of my faves. I always go to it. Just allowing things to settle. Do you know, I was going to do a poll to check in to see how you're all doing, but I feel we can check in with ourselves and in our mind's eye. So we're still looking after ourselves, and our minds are just broadening and thinking of all these beautiful people that are here this morning, tuning into this lovely group, checking in with how we're doing now. Great. And just to end it, Basti, you know this quote so well. I've got it written down because I always get my words muddled. Referring to our wonderful 6th century philosopher of Taoism, Lao Tzu, do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? And on that beautiful note from our wonderful Lao Tzu, thank you, Basti, for the chat. Seems like a lovely, easy morning for all of us. I'm really glad, Jane, that was helpful for you. Wonderful. Have a lovely week, everyone. The recording will be up soon. You'll get an email on that. And if you can't find your email, if you go to YouTube and type in Shiatsu Center, you will see the whole last 3 and a bit years full of videos on there for you to choose. They're more or less labeled, so if you put stomach or earth, that should appear with some videos for you. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.